Alright, let's just cut through the bullshit. I was uploading a video. I've already done this once. And it lost fucking connection. Funny how it seems to love to do that when you're halfway through a fucking video. You wanna talk about raging angry, it'll do that. But fuck it, I'll do this. I have to do this all over again. Okay. Getting to the point. Cut through the bullshit and get to the point. I used to make a video. I had a whole series called Weekly Fuck Up that I used to do, and I'm bringing it back. And while we're not even halfway through the week, believe me, there is more than enough fucking bullshit to talk about this fucking week and to make a video about. And okay, I'd like to start with something I just recently saw by a YouTube user named dalyxman. And first of all, I would like to say I am subscribed to him. I would encourage other people to subscribe to him. He has some very good videos, and I'm mainly doing this to show that this isn't an attack on him, and that while I'm about to rip through some things he said, I personally am not trying to fuck him over, and I am trying to build him up now. So go subscribe to him if you see this video. Very good YouTube user. But to the point I'm going to talk about now, let's cut the pleasantries and get to it. He seemed to make the fucking case. He seemed to suggest that somehow being in a fucking porno film was in some way comparable to murder. And I mean this because WWE, Triple H, he recently sat down and talked about how China could not be in their Hall of Fame because it would eventually, you can't let Ben Ryan let China in. Well, that's bullshit. Because, I mean, and he says that, well, Ben Ryan, he talks about how Ben Ryan seems to compare the two, and that's crazy. How the fuck is her making porn, or making porn movies, anything like what Chris Benoit did? Are you honestly comparing porn to a double homicide and suicide? And by that logic, Vince McMahon, who was the owner of the WWE, who is the owner of the WWE, who produced the Attitude Era product in the late 90s, early 2000s, how would he be allowed in his own Hall of Fame? Since he made softcore porn, and that's what largely the Divas division was in the Attitude Era. That's what, and you also had stuff like Val Venus, you had Godfather who played a pimp, and he came out with a hose, and everything else. And again, I like all of that, and I like porn, and I'm not saying any of that's bad, but how the hell can you do that and then hypocritically turn around and condemn this other fucking person for doing porn? That's crazy. Also, there's a fucking issue of, I mean, I'm sorry, and also the issue of, Triple H, who, didn't he put on a cane mask, get in a coffin, and pretend to fuck a corpse? I mean, yet they won't let China in, and you approve it, and dalyxman seems to approve of this. That's crazy, and I'm sorry, there's no way there's no nice way to say that. Porn stars are not murderers, and they're not comparable to murderers. So I would like to get off that. Also, he seems to have mentioned the Golden Globe thing, where she held like a Golden Globe. It was a nude photo, where she pretended to be an Oscar award. That was in Playboy, and the whole thing about that really bothers me about that is WWE allowed her to be in Playboy. They wrote it into the storyline. I believe they wanted her in it. They also had Sable, Tori Wilson, and other people do. Are they not in it? And if they're in it, how can she not be in it? And where the hell do they get off not letting her in for something they're responsible for? And even the porn video, that was X-Pac who leaked it. How can you condemn her for something someone else leaked? That's crazy. So that's my opinion on that. Now getting on to the next subject. The football was this week, and first of all, I'd just like to ask, does anyone really watch football anymore? There's an internet full of porn that I'm guessing dalyxman doesn't watch. And a wrestling network, a fucking WWE network, even UFC that I don't like, but I mean that would seem to be more appealing to those kinds of people. So what's so great about some people throwing a ball around? I don't get it. Also, I remember, also you people, the people who say that there were some worries that women would not be watching the NFL this year because of Ray Rice, so they would have a drop in female viewership. How is the NFL responsible for what Ray Rice did? As much shit as I talk about women, I don't think they're shallow and stupid enough, by and large, to stop watching a sport because some idiot hit some other idiot in a fucking elevator. So that was bullshit. And speaking of feminism, they had more than their fair share of feminist commercials this year. One was the Always commercial, and one thing I will say is I don't have a huge problem with this video. At least, unlike the bossy one, it made sense. Anyone can be called bossy. It's a gender-neutral insult. This video was at least relevant to the issue of women's rights, or women's issues, and not just totally ignoring the reality off the walls fucking insane. I mean, there's also the issue of, look at, male genital mutilation, the circumcision of infant males in America, and the problems men face and how you're totally ignoring it. But beyond that, I have no problem with that video. And I also think that the problems women face in the Middle East is something these feminists, these supposed women rights activists need to pay attention to, and not petty shit like a girl. I mean, that's a phrase and part of the evolution of language. That's crazy. Also, the thing that bothered me more was the fucking, Sarah Silverman saying, sorry, it's a bore in one of the commercials for a cell phone, saying, like, as if though to say it's bad that it was a bore, that bores are not, and if you say, well, you can't take a joke. Excuse me, I'm sorry, but weren't you the same fucking assholes who tried to fire a scientist who landed a satellite on a comet for wearing a fucking t-shirt that you didn't like? And you're telling me I should learn to take a joke? Bullshit. And at least it was a boy, not a fucking feminist cunt. So I mean, that's my video for this, and that's all. P666.